Yeah, I'm Kathleen. I'm the host, founder and host of the Beach Poets. I've been doing it on the beach since 1990, and started out at Sheffield School Street Cafe, and they were rehabbing the place, and they hadn't told me. I had 30 people show up and no place to go, so we went out to the beach. It was July. We took it out to North Avenue Beach. And at North Avenue Beach, we did it in the chess pavilion. But chess and poetry, like different sides of the brain. And so it didn't really, yeah. So we moved it further out on the beach, and we did it at night. So I would bring my grandfather's old Weber grill, and we would bury it in the sand, the Weber grill, so it's like a bonfire. And so we did it by the bonfire for the first 7 years.
We could use that today.
Yeah, we could use a bonfire for sure. Vincent, my oldest son, who painted the sign for me, he has a thing that's like a stove, only it's clay. Yeah. And in his backyard, and that's where he has his fires in this clay stove thing, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, I have one of my children here today, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
Katie's a dancer, and she also works.
Very good.
So she has to leave. We have to leave like 3-ish to get her to work on time. Last week, I think she was a minute late. So we're trying. Dun dun dun. She really likes to be on time. She's got that dancer's discipline. So I'm really honored to have Lou as our feature today. Thank you so much. Yay. And we usually start with a round robin where we each do one poem apiece. And I have this book. It was recommended to my husband, actually, to buy me this book by Malachi. I don't know if you guys know Malachi, but Malachi had invented a style of poetry called Black Hoop. And so it would spell out a word, and then as you went down the line, it was the poem too. So Black Hoop. So Malachi recommended my husband buy this book for me, and we lost the book in our fire. So I recently got it at Semicolon Bookstore. Have you ever heard of Semicolon Bookstore? It's like a black-owned bookstore. I really love it.
On North Avenue,
I love it. It's on Division Street. It's not far from Phyllis's.
Near West, right?
Yeah, it's a little further east of Phyllis's, but on the same side of the street. And yeah, Wicker Park, for sure. And I went there to pick up Tara Betts' book, and I was so happy to see that my old friend Richard right there. So Tara Betts' book, Refuse to Disappear, is fabulous, and I've read it on the air. I also host a radio show at WZRD, The Wizard. It's freeform, so anything goes. And so I read some of her poetry, and I'm going to be featuring Tara on the radio this coming Friday. It's 88.3 FM. And my show is from 5 till 8, so somewhere in there.
But the wattage is low, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't live within a couple of miles, I would say try to dial it up on the internet.
Yeah, you can. It streams live on the internet.
Yeah, because you live in
What's the bookstore called?
So this book is called Haiku.
But what's the book?
Semicolon.
Oh,
Semicolon Bookstore. Semicolon. It's gorgeous. So nice. It's so different from a traditional bookstore where there's rows. They have kiosks of books, and it feels so friendly and open, and I really dig it. So anyway, it's my plug for Semicolon Books. And so I'm going to read something from Haiku, the last poems of an American icon, Richard Wright. I teach on the west side of Chicago. I've been teaching theater, and I have a garden at the school. In the center of the school was a weed pit. And just coming to school every day and seeing a weed, thing full of weeds made me feel so bad. And I thought I could do something about that. So with the principal's permission, I tore out all the weeds and brought in tons of dirt and planted some sunflowers and pansies and marigolds and tulips and all kinds of things have been coming up, and the children are so excited about it. And one of the young men who never planted anything before helped me plant the garden. It's really nice. So sunflowers, and so this is called, it's Fierce Sunflowers is how it begins. Of course it's haiku, it's very short. Fierce sunflowers have forced every cloud fleece out of the hot sky. So, this young man told me he never planted anything before, and he feels such ownership over the garden now. It's really nice. Yeah, very protective of it. And so, if you have any bird friends, we also put in a bird feeder, so tell them, because the birds are unaccustomed to coming there. So we'll move on. We usually go in a circle. Anybody has something to share, you're welcome to join in. Jerry?
Boy, shouldn't we go left?
Oh, should we go left?
Isn't there enough?
Okay.
Isn't there enough rightward movement going on? Like maybe start with Diane and then.
Okay. Yeah, we could start with Diane. Yeah. Diane, did you have Diana? That's fine. That's cool. Okay. We need supporters too. Anita. Now, I've known Anita for many years. We used to work in film together. She was our continuity. And I did set design until I had Vincent, my oldest son, who you could see is an artist. They were fun.
Okay, here's one. Okay, so this one is called Prism 10 versus Bison 32. And I guess I wrote it in 2013. Okay, and the illustration features Marvin Coe and the registrar at Columbia, and unfortunately she passed. Okay. Behind the scenes, electronic communications expose 5 suspicious empty seconds. National Rainbow Clandestine Headquarters process electronic surveillance requests. Sun Cryptography locate restriction number US 984 X-ray November. Base of operations 18 intentionally make 55 changes. 69 computing instructions expose resident number 227. Monitoring agents transmit intelligence data to signal investigations. Algorithm cipher collections analyze all encrypted leaks.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Anita. Thank you.
And now it's even worse.
It is worse. Oh boy, is that ever true? Like your phone is listening to you. It's crazy.
Why? That's why I don't use my phone for anything but the phone.
Mm-hmm. Smart. All right. And so, anybody in our gallery interested? Karen, I saw that you had a book with you. Do you have something?
You don't have to twist my arm ever.
Nice.
For anybody over in this section.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Well, I saw Karen had a book out, so I'm like, I'm going to ask her.
This is kind of semi-autobiographical, based on a true story. She had been stoned, moss-cooled, sun-scorched, roofed to the dark home of thousands of writhing, scuttling creatures. Their lives moved so quickly she was barely aware of their existence. After eons of winter freezing, summer thawing, she broke open. The earth shifted and invoked her and 1,000 other rocks. They tumbled together in a litany of scree, swallowed by river, yielding to the adamant rhythm of water. She was rendered finally into less than sand. When she woke again, she was mewling, fur-covered. She learned to be dog, running in fog and tree shadow, belonging to pack and tooth and claw. Joy was nuzzling fur kin in cold dark, and tearing flesh together, and running after scents that crowded the wind. In their end, a greater beast, fire, chased them all from the forest, singed fur and feather and leaf, feasted them to ash, until it too perished. Then there was dark, a soft drumbeat of a heart she echoed as she grew. Beyond that, a great explosion of light and cold, she grew again. But now she moved without the grace of four paws and lacked the steadfastness of rock. The scents carried on the air were indistinct, but she remembered. And always the tears leaked from her eyes. Confused with the complications of good and evil chores and church, she spent hours lying among the wet stones of the creek and buried her face in the fur of every cur that strayed in from the road, until one day her mother took her by the shoulders, shouting, "Will you never leave off from your strangeness, child?" As she looked down at her pale and ponderous feet that had not yet learned to dance, she whispered, "I am but recently human."
Ooh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you have something? Yes, please.
Okay, this is about the power of nonsense and the problems with believing that the future is going to solve all our problems. Are you sick and tired of high electricity bills? You want to do something about it? Well, now you can. You can tap into nature's own electric dynamo, the human brain. Yes, it's a scientific fact the human brain generates lots of electricity. Now, I know what you're asking yourselves. How do I get this electricity from my brain to the washing machine? Well, hold on to your hats, because Brain Co., the company that brought you the Glow Dome, is delighted to present the very latest in biodigital brain interfaces, the Brain Co. Electro Brain. Looks like an ordinary headband. Works like a miracle. What's it do? It does everything. Makes coffee, makes toast, runs the vacuum. Here, watch this. Amazing! And how much would you expect a little gizmo like this to cost? $9.99? $9.99? $9.99? Well, it's only $9.99. And if you act right now, we will throw in a 12-volt adapter plug. Have you ever been stuck in your car in the middle of winter with a dead battery? Well, now you can jumpstart that car with your own brain. So run! Don't walk to the phone right now and dial BRAINCO, Brain Co., the company with your brain in mind.
So, yes.
I'm going to try one if I can remember it.
Okay.
On paper, but Lou here inspired me with see if I can remember. It's called Last Call, and it's about what's happening with all the guns. So
Oh,
when I
good.
get angsty,
Mm-hmm.
I get rhymey, I guess. Called Last Call. Pop, pop, pop. My mother, mi madre, shops at the bodega down the block. I duck for cover, thinking how much I love her. The gangs don't like the silence, because their power comes in violence. Which is what makes you a man, not just a flash in the pan, like the smell of gunpowder, which leaves no doubt or something as to who's given direction when the trigger is pulled and the puddle cools, crimson red. Let's pour one out for the dead. Pow! The shit's got real now. Our babies hide behind desks, holding their breath, waiting on the rest. The teacher signals silence so they don't invite the violence of a broken boy who just done bought himself a wartime toy to even the scales of justice in the land of In God We Trust. Another fooled as the trigger's pulled and the puddle cools, crimson red. Let's pour more out for the dead. Stop. Pop, stop, pop, stop, pop, pop, pop. The good guy with the gun just shot the wrong someone who he sure might have done. Someone who he sure may have done, or perhaps just chose not to stop, but run. I am so sorry, I'm right at the end there. Our society won't make such a fuss. Perhaps they'll say that he was just, in his own way, protecting us. Will there ever, protecting us. When the trigger was pulled and the puddles pooled, crimson red, let's pour another out for our dead. Will there ever, just the last, will there ever come a time when we have to choose between taking lives and saving booze?